Okay, hey everyone. This is the first time I've tried to do this live stream edition, so it's going to be a little bit different than how I usually edit and put up my videos. But basically, what we're going to do, what we're going to do is go over Exodus 19, which is talking about Israel at Mount Sinai. So I'm going to read the notes that I have. We'll read the passage, and then we'll ask the reflective questions like I did in the last video. I have not looked at this, so we're going to see what it says. So for verses 1 through 3, I wrote Israel. I don't want to show that because it has location stuff. Anyway, Israel camping out while Moses talked to God. Set up then, but I get it. Set up then, but let's be talking to God ourselves. I don't know what that means. Do you guys know what that means? Let's be talking to God ourselves and not just going to others to hear from him. Oh, I think I'm saying we see the same thing today. Verses 4 through 6, you see what I have done, says God. Now obey and receive the blessing I have for you. I'm interested to see what those verses say. Okay, then verses 7 through 15 are talking about preparation for what God was about to do. Interesting. Verse 16. As you can tell, this is very different from when I edit it. But verse 16, I wrote scary. Didn't look like sunshine and rainbows when God was about to move and speak. I love that. I'm very interested to see what this actually says because I wrote these notes on November 16th, 2022. So it's been a minute. And then verses 17 through 25, God speaking. And I wrote, his ways are not our ways, and he has reasons for what he says. Trust him and the people he chooses. This is going to be very interesting. So let's get into it. Exodus 19. I'm going to actually read it partitioned the way that I wrote it and reread those notes as we go through. So verses 1 through 3, Israel camping out while Moses talked to God. Set up then, but let's be talking to God ourselves and not just going to others to hear from him. So verses 1 through 3 of Israel at Mount Sinai. On the third new moon, after the people of Israel had gone out of the land of Egypt, on that day they came into the wilderness of Sinai. They set out from Rephidim and came into the wilderness of Sinai, and they encamped in the wilderness. There Israel encamped before the mountain. While Moses went up to God, the Lord called to him out of the mountain, saying, Thus you shall say to the house of Jacob and tell the people of Israel. And then he says, You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Israel. Wow. I kind of want to read that again. I hope that's okay with you. I mean, I'm going to do it, whether it is or not. It says, You yourselves have seen what I did to the Egyptians and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself. When has he done that in your life? Think about that. Now, therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine. And also, this chapter is right before the 10 Commandments. So God is literally about to give that covenant. He's about to give the law. So he's saying, if you'll obey this, you'll be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. You will be a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Israel. And I wrote, You've seen what I've done, says God. Now obey and see the blessing I have for you. So then verses 7 through 15 are about preparation for what God is about to do. It says, So Moses came and called the elders of the people and set before them all these words that the Lord had commanded him. All the people answered together and said, All that the Lord has spoken we will do. And Moses reported the words of the people to the Lord. And the Lord said to Moses, Behold, I am coming to you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and may also believe you forever. When Moses told the words of the people to the Lord said to Moses, Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments and be ready for the third day. For on the third day the Lord will come down on Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people, and you shall set limits for the people all around, saying, Take care not to go up into the mountain or touch the edge of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall be put to death. No hand shall touch him, but he shall be stoned or shot, whether beast or man, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounds a long blast, they shall come up to the mountain. So Moses went down from the mountain to the people and consecrated the people, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, Be ready for the third day, do not go near a woman. On the morning of the third day, there were thunders and lightning, so there's a storm, and a thick cloud on the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast, so that all the people in the camp trembled. So, okay, wait. God is like doing this, right? That's very cool. Okay. There was a trumpet blast, so that all the people in the camp trembled. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God. That sounds so cute. And they took their stand at the foot of the mountain. So basically, God gave instruction for exactly what the people were supposed to do, the order that they were supposed to do it, and they did it. Okay. So then I also wrote for verse 16, scary. The storm was probably very scary, very supernatural. Did not look like sunshine and rainbows and everything's going great. And God's like, yay, I'm about to like give you my law. It was very scary circumstances. When God was about to move and speak. And then we'll go into verse 17, which I just read. Oh, speaking of which, it's getting dark. That's spooky. My point exactly. Okay. Anyway, verse 17 I just read. I'm going to reread it and then continue into the rest of the chapter. But it was talking about God speaking. His ways are not our ways. He has reasons for what he says. Trust him and the people he chooses. Okay. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they took their stand at the foot of the mountain. Now Mount Sinai was wrapped in smoke because the Lord had descended on it in fire. The smoke of it went up like the smoke of a kiln, and the whole mountain trembled greatly. And as the sound of the trumpet grew louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him in thunder. The Lord came down on Mount Sinai to the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. Just like picturing that in my mind, like what that would have been like. Yeah. And the Lord said to Moses, Go down and warn the people. So he went up, he called him up, and then he said, Go down and warn them. So Moses is like going back and forth, basically. Go down and warn the people, lest they break through to the Lord to look, and many of them perish. And let the priests who come near to the Lord consecrate themselves. That's the other thing. They're like cleansing themselves and giving themselves to God and like consecrating themselves before all of this happens. Lest the Lord break out against them. And Moses said to the Lord, The people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you yourself warned us, saying, Set limits around the mountain and consecrate it. And the Lord said to him, Go down and come up bringing Aaron with you, but do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So Moses went down to the people and told them. Interesting. That is very interesting. I'm just looking at we definitely sometimes try to, I don't know if get out of place is necessarily the best way to say that, but to me, it makes me think of like trying to, yeah, get out of place is the best way to say it that I can think of. I think personally, we have trouble with this because we do have to test the spirits and see if they are of God, and we do need to be mindful about who we are following and the leadership that we associate with. Um, but also, like, this to me really does tell the people to follow Moses, who was appointed by God as the leader. And I think that I'd have to go back and like watch what I said on previous videos, just to like see how that process went of like God preparing and calling Moses. Um, I don't know. It's just very interesting, but it makes me think like we need to be more willing to honor and listen to leaders even if we disagree, which is not popular these days. um, and there are other verses that I think of when I think of this. I can't remember the reference of it. If I could find it, that would be great. Let's see. Leads. No, that's not it. No, if I can think of it, I will let you know. But essentially a verse about, sorry, I'm just trying to find it. I really am. That's like the verse I was thinking of. That's so cool. Okay. I'm getting distracted. I don't know how well these live streams are going to work. It might just have to be a video that I film. That's not it, but this one is talking about where God has appointed in the church first apostles, second prophets, third teachers, then miracles, then gifts of healing, helping, administrating, and various kinds of tongues. Like there is definitely a hierarchy there, and a system of priorities. But that is not what I'm thinking of. I'm just trying to find it. Okay, I'm not finding it. Basically, the verse that I'm thinking of is talking about how we are to honor our leaders. I don't know why that's so difficult for me to like get out. It's just frustrating that I can't think of the verse. But I'll let you know if I do by the next video. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what this tells us about God. The biggest thing that comes to my mind is how the people were to consecrate themselves before even just surrounding the mountain. Like they're not the ones going up, they were told to consecrate themselves. How does that apply in our lives? How does that apply in your life? I would encourage you to think about, because that's something that I think I need to think about. Even if I'm not the one like going up the mountain or whatever, metaphorical mountain, how do I need to prepare myself for what God is going to do? I think that's what I would think of. So then, what's a verse that stands out to you? That is the third thing to consider. First of all, what does it tell you about God? How do you apply it? What's a verse that stands out to you? Um, hmm, I think I would say verses 5 and 6. I also love where they get together and they're like, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. Like, that's great. Um, that definitely is something to keep in mind. But also, where God says, now therefore, if you will indeed obey my voice and keep my covenant, you shall be my treasured possession among all peoples, for all the earth is mine. And you shall be to me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words that you shall speak to the people of Israel. And I think that is the goal. And that is what comes to my mind. But that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this, got something out of it, and saw something new that God wants to show you individually. If you saw something different than I did, tell me about it. I don't know if I keep comments on here. Maybe we'll have to talk about it if I do another live stream. But let me know, and we'll come back with chapter 20 about the 10 Commandments next time. And that is the last one that I think I have notes for. I think I stopped. No, I have notes for 20 and 21. And I think I stopped after that. I don't think I wrote any this whole year. So I'm going to have to think if I want to prepare the chapters ahead of time or if I just want to read them and see what God is saying in the moment. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure I'm sold on these live streams because it feels awkward when I can't edit out the awkward pauses and the ums and like all the stuff that I normally would edit out in a video. But let me know what you think. I'm not seeing any others. So I think 20 and 21 is it that I have notes on, and I'll have to figure out from there. But that is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the future videos as we move through Exodus and future books. Well, not future books of the Bible, they already exist, but you know what I mean. That is everything. Thank you for being here, and I will talk to you all next time. Bye.